Hello everyone, so welcome to my channel. So today we are going to do Leetcode weekly contest. First question, and that's the easy level here. So as I had earlier also told you that easy level questions are in such a manner that even if you apply a brute force approach over that question, then also it will work fine. So like that only, now we'll think about this question, that how we are required to get to the approach and code this particular question. So let's get started. So here the thing is that you are given a zero index strictly increasing integer array. So here the thing is that strictly increasing simply means that there are no duplicates, and then it is zero index and it is increasing in nature, so that simply means that all the elements which are being present in that array are already sorted in ascending order. And then a positive integer difference is given to us. So difference is always in the range of 0 to so on, means basically it is a positive integer. A triplet 𝐼𝐽𝐾 is an arithmetic triplet only if these following conditions satisfy. So these conditions are that it should be in increasing order, means the indices of those elements should be in increasing order. And then how we are required to calculate is that nums of j minus sums of I, means the element which is present at the jth position and the ith position. If we do difference of the same, then it is equals to the difference which is being given to us as our input. Or if nums of k minus nums of j, if we do difference between them, then also it is equals to difference. So basically we are required to figure out two pairs whose difference is basically equals to the diff input which is being given to us. So this is the whole question. So let us get to the approach, that how we would be going to go ahead with this approach. So the thing is that now we need to think in the brute force manner, that how we would be doing. So first thing is we would be required to traverse this array in such a manner that we are able to figure out with a pair, that first pair is this, second pair is this, and both of those difference is equals to this, but only thing common in between those two pairs would be one single element. Then only they are triplets. So let us see. If we run a single loop and then we run again one more loop, means if we run two nested loops, then how it would work. So first loop would be at the outermost side, right? So it will check for the I, and if we run the secondmost loop in such a manner that it starts from the just next element, means 0 is there and 1 is there, so it will check for 0 and 1, right? If we do difference of both, what we get, then we will get only 3. But that is not the scene here, because when we subtract 1 and 0, then we get 1, right? So we need to move ahead with our second loop, and then we need to check that what we get for 4 and 0. It will be 4. Then like this we will check for all others, but we won't be able to get a difference. So now we are required to run our first loop itself, and then it would be starting from 1. And the second loop will start from I plus 1, that is it will start from 4. And when we do difference of the same, right, then what we'll get? We'll get 3, right? So according to that, we satisfy our this and we satisfy our first condition, right? So this was because of we were running two loops, and as I told, we can apply the brute force solution. So n-square solution would easily work here, as the constraint here which are given, that length of the nums there is 200. So it's a small constraint that even n square and even n cube solution would work here. And if we check for the element length, means element length in that sense, the size of not you can say size, but the element itself are till 200 only, then again it is a small number. Means even if we do difference of huge numbers, although doing differences somehow it will come up to that diff only, but addition was, so that's why we are not bothered about this constraint. And then difference is always up to 50. That's also a thing which is alright. And then nums is always increasing, so that was already mentioned in the question. Now comes the part of finding out the particular second pair which have one intersecting element, because now we require 4 as that element only, which will contribute to our second pair. So here if we check, so in that context, either we can use a new data structure which will store our previous figured out pair, or we can directly use one more loop, and that loop would be running inside these two loops, and it will start from just the next element of j. So if we take third loop, then it will be running from j plus 1, right? And when it runs from j plus 1, then it would be, now we need to figure out that what is j plus 1. So j plus 1 minus j would be simply 6 minus 4 would be 2, so that's not a pair. Then we'll again run j plus we'll run. So let us say that j plus 1 was equals to k. So now when we run k again, so it would be 7, and then 4 was already there. 7 minus 4, it is 3. Now we are able to figure out with that diff, right? So now we are able to get our second pair also with the same. So that's why here we got our answer. So while figuring out with this solution, we got to know that here we can use 3 loops for figuring out the whole solution, and that's the thing which we can do here, and that is we will be doing here. So the time complexity and the space complexity, so here we are not using any extra space as earlier, but here the time complexity would be equal to n cube because we are using 3 nested loops, right? And the space complexity would be order of 1. So now just figure out that how you will be coding this solution. So before showing you that particular solution, I just want that you should think about the same, and then I'll show you, so that in the interviews also you would be easily able to come up with a solution. Yeah. So you can either pause this video and just code it. And yeah, before that, from interview, I just recall that a lot of students just asked me about for the interview and placement preparation if I could suggest them a course which is well structured, could give them a mentorship one-on-one, and could be able to solve their doubts lively in a particular class, online, and so on. So I just came across with the Newton School for the same. So you could check out Newton School, and everything is present in the description of this video, means the link of the website and everything is present. You could check out all the details there. And even the best thing about the Newton School is that the thing which I liked about the Newton School is that we don't need to provide them with any sort of fees that is starting. When we will get placed, then only we are required to pay for the course, else it is completely free to go ahead with. And what everyone wants just placement only, right? So when you are placed, then you would be good enough that you can pay the course fee, and then only you need to pay, else you don't need to pay beforehand. And the thing is that when a lot of companies claim that they will get you placed and so on, but they are unable to figure that out, and they are unable to place you, then the thing is that your fees go in vain, right? But in the Newton School, you are not going to pay at the starting. You just need to pay when you are placed. So that's the scenario here. If you want these 3 things like structured course and mentorship and one-on-one doubt solving, you could check out that course in the description. That's all you can do. So let's come back to this particular question. So as earlier I had told you that how the question could be coded. So now let me show you that how it is required to code. So here's the thing. We will be using this int result because the return type is int, right? So that's why we require a variable in which we will be storing our number of triplets, arithmetic triplets. Now comes the part. We are using 3 loops here, right? So the first loop is for traversing the array whole, and the outermost loop is for checking out that it will stop at a particular point, and from there only it will check for other numbers. So our second loop would be, it will check just after our first loop, and it will first check that is there difference found. If it is found, then only a third loop will run, and in this third loop what we would be doing is that we will check out that are we able to figure out with our difference at this particular point. If we are able to figure out our difference, then only we'll increment our result, and at the end we'll return this result. And this result directly refers to the number of arithmetic triplets which we are required to figure out. So this was all for this particular question. I have already told the time complexity, space complexity for the same. So yeah, this was all. Thank you.